Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. Inshallah, welcome to another day here at Sunnahfollowers. This is our Tawheed class, and for this class, we've been focusing on the Hellfire, the particulars of the Hellfire. And today's topic is going to be so great because I've told you guys that there will be more people in hell than in paradise. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. Well, today we're going to explore not only why there are more people in that will be in hell than paradise, but I'm also going to give you the evidence to support, like I always do, the evidence to support whatever it is that I say. But before that, let's start off with the quiz, because yesterday we spoke about a few things. We talked about the sins of the people who will be in the hellfire. And let me put the quiz up on the screen just for us to review, to see just how well everyone here understood what was taught. So let me make the screen so y'all can see it. First of all, put it shorter than that. And if there's only 5 questions, I've been keeping my quizzes short since some of you have complained so much about how hard my quizzes were. I made them very short. I had to even stop the Islamic trivia game because y'all got upset with the questions. But anyway, here we are. Let's look at the first question. We spoke about how Allah mentions certain sins. In fact, all the sins that we spoke about yesterday are sins that Allah himself mentions. Of the sins of the people of the hellfire. Why does he mention these sins instead of others? Who can answer that question? Why does Allah mention certain sins of which the people of hell will be punished for over other sins? For example, we talked about associating partners yesterday. We spoke about inclining others to do wrong. We spoke about abusing the rights of orphans. These are the sins. We talked about interest. Why does Allah mention those sins in particular instead of other sins? I gave you guys the fiqh behind that. I gave you guys the understanding behind that. How many of you can tell me why is it that Allah mentions some sins over others? He mentions the sin of interest, the sins of abusing the rights of orphans, the sin of making pictures and statues. Why does he mention these sins over others when he speaks about the sins of the people of the hellfire? Who can answer that? Who can give me an Islamic answer to that? Okay, Brother Tarek said, because Allah knows his creation and knows what sins will be the biggest problem for us. So he mentions those sins over the others to warn us who truly believe to not fall victim to those sins and to be on guard. Exactly. MashaAllah, that's the reason why. It's just that simple. Allah knows his creation. He knows what sins we will be more inclined to commit. So he mentions those sins by name because he knows that they will be the sins that we abuse the most. Does everybody understand that? We will abuse the sin of interest. We'll abuse the sin of taking the wealth of others. So this is why Allah mentions those sins over others. No, Sister Layla, your answer is incorrect. Sister Layla's answer is incorrect, but Brother Tarek's is correct. He mentions particular sins because he knows that these will be the sins that we commit the most, that we give into the most. due to our weaknesses. Exactly, Brother Tarek. Everybody understand that answer? So if somebody asks you, why does the law speak about fornication? Why does the law speak about the people in hell being punished for fornication and for interest and things? Why didn't he talk about stealing more? Why didn't he go into more detail about murder more? Because he mentions these sins over them because they're the sins that we will fall most victim to. Good job. Okay, let's look at question number 2. Question number 2. We spoke about how Allah mentions the sin of making pictures of people or sculpting designs of people. Why is this such a horrific sin? We can understand how interest would be one. We can understand how associating partners would be one, but why is drawing a picture of me or making a statue of me, why is this such a bad thing to do? Who can give
Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead, Sister Lucy. Wa alaikum salam. MashaAllah. Good to hear your voice.
It's because they're making images of his creations, of Allah's creations. And he said that every maker of an image will be in the fire. And every image he made, every one that he made, he will put a soul to, and it'll multiply his time in the hellfire.
Yes, but why is that so bad? Why is it such a bad thing to do? Why is it so bad to make an image of his creation? What's the fiqh, the understanding behind it? Why? And the same with you, Sister Haja. Why is this such a bad thing to do? Why is it so bad to draw a picture of a person?
Can I answer?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, because the law says that on the day of judgment, he's going to ask you to put a soul in it. And you know, you can't do that.
Yes, but so, okay, that's, you all are telling me the punishment. What's going to be the punishment, but why is it so bad to do it? Why is drawing a picture of me, sculpting a picture of me as bad as committing adultery? Why is it put in the same category of interest? Why is it so bad?
Because it, in a manner, it's also shirk. You can worship that image.
What? Why? Why is it so bad? Let's see. Sister Israel said, because you're trying to put yourself on the same level as Allah. Exactly. Because you're doing something that only Allah can do. You can't create a human. You cannot recreate me. No matter how well you draw me in this hijab, it's still not me. You're trying to compete with Allah. It's not about worship so much, guys. There's a lot of people that draw paintings. They're not worshiping them. Okay, but they're competing with Allah. You're trying to create something. And what does the artist always say? I'm creating this great painting. Okay, but you're trying to recreate Layla Nashiba. You're trying to recreate the Mona Lisa, whoever Mona Lisa was, whoever this woman was that lived back in Shakespearean time. The man that painted her tried to preserve her for life. What do painters tell you? They'll say that a painting or a sculpture preserves you for life. That's why they made sculptures and statues of Athena, statues of Caesar. Why is it that the Pharaoh of Egypt wanted statues to be built of him? Why did he want the Sphinx to have his face on it? Because they believed that that they could recreate a person. I can recreate you and preserve you throughout eternity. Does everybody understand? Do you understand, Sister May? You understand, Sister Laylee? You understand, Sister Tony? Okay? You cannot recreate me and preserve me. Only Allah has that power. And that's the purpose. And a painter will tell you that when they sculpt people, the Queen of Egypt, the Queen of England wants a painting done of herself to preserve her forever. The King of France wants a painting of himself. No, your answer, you guys said competing with Allah. That's not the same thing. I want you guys to break it down. Your answers are not the same. I can misinterpret the word compete to mean anything. But when you say I'm trying to recreate and preserve, that's not the same as compete. Does everybody understand? I want you guys to know, you guys come to these classes every day. You all should be upgraded in your thinking now. You guys should be able to express yourselves. You guys should be able to break this religion down like Layla does. You should be able to explain to a Muslim why we can't do something and they understand it. You don't want them to walk away misunderstanding you because you said compete. No, compete is not the same as to recreate and preserve. Hello, everybody got it? Yeah. So that's why I want you guys, so only Allah can preserve a human being, can create it and preserve it. We can't do that. And of course, it does lead to other stuff like associating and all that. But the main reason why Allah forbade it is because it's something that only He can do. You cannot create a fetus. Only Allah can do that. He's the one that takes your egg and takes your husband's sperm and fertilizes it, causes it to happen. Certain things only He has the ability to do. And as human beings, we should not try to take on the abilities of Allah. Now, I want y'all to understand this. As Muslims, we're supposed to emulate Allah's names, emulate His attributes, but don't try to take it on. If I paint a picture of Anissa, I am taking on Allah's characteristic. That's a better word than compete. Taking on His characteristics. Okay, we can emulate Him, but don't take them on. Don't think that they're yours. Everybody understand? Good job. So I'll take this part. You're trying to put yourself on Allah's level. And then I'm going to add to the answer. You're trying to put yourself on the same level as Allah by taking on an attribute. Wait a minute. An attribute that only belongs to Him, which is the attribute of creating. Of creation. None of y'all gave that answer. Ain't none of y'all's answer similar to that. Y'all shortcut it with a bunch of words that we used to give answers in the past too. You guys have progressed over that. Be more descriptive, especially since we got so much confusion out there nowadays. Okay, let's look at question number 3. Hold on, let me put this on the screen. See if y'all can get this one right. Hold on. Question number 3. Now, and again, don't sit here and say your answer's like mine when it ain't, because you ain't broke it down and it broke it down to a T. What does it mean to incline others to sin? We talked about how Allah mentions this as being one of the sins of the people of the hellfire. He said many of the people of hell will be there because they inclined others to sin. What does that mean? When Allah says that most of the people of hell will be punished for inclining others to sin, what does that mean? And don't say your answer is like mine if you don't break it down.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's try this.
Okay.
Sitting and listening to somebody talk about somebody else, backbiting, sitting there in the middle and just listen to lies about something you don't know anything about, and you just listening to it, and then you go back and repeat what you heard. It's kind of like you sitting there being a recorder, then going back and telling somebody hey, I heard such and such about this person, that person. Oh, no, it ain't no lie. No, you don't know the facts. Did you ask that person about that? Did you go to that person and ask that person, was that the truth? No, you did not. So backbiting is bad.
Okay, is this about backbiting? No. When Allah says, do not incline others to sin. What does
I
that
would like
mean?
to answer this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is when you see people sinning and you don't say nothing about it. Like you'll see a person smoking and you're like, hey, that's haram. So you just sit there in that company and let them sin, and Allah will basically send his wrath upon all of us, because if nobody's saying nothing to stop the evil, Allah will punish us all. Is that what it is?
Okay, good job. That's part of it. Good job. She said you see other people sinning, but you do nothing. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. It could go a little bit deeper in that, but yes, that's more correct than the first answer. You incline others to sin. A lot of people will be in hell for inclining others to sin. What does that mean? Norto said you see other people doing wrong, but you do nothing to try to stop it. That's part of the answer. Okay, Laylee said by you support the people who do wrong. That's another part. Good answer, Laylee. Not only do you not do anything to stop it, but you sit there supporting the people who are sinning. Good job, Laylee. LeMay said you're motivating others, but you suggest sin to them and you set bad examples to them. Good. All of these answers you guys are giving should have been one answer. You guys should have put all of these answers in your one answer. Good job. May said talking about individuals who know that there are no other people committing sins, instead of enjoying the good and forbidding the evil, you allow it to happen. Okay, good job. All of these answers are correct. Every single one. They should have all been together, though, in one answer.
Yeah, Sister Israel answering it, Miss Layla.
Okay, I'm getting ready to see. Look at hers now. I'm doing it Facebook first. Okay, now let's see what they got in here. Israel said, this is inclining others to sin, is when a person fails to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. They rather support. Okay, look how she's answered. She's putting all y'all answers together. They rather support the wrongdoers rather than speak up against them because they want to fit in. Exactly. You want to fit in. You afraid that you got something to lose. This is what Muslims are doing today. We see Allah is exposing. He's exposing the wrongdoers every day, just like the prophet said he would. The prophet said, whenever you put yourself in a position of leadership and authority and you don't deserve it, you're on your own and Allah will eventually expose you. Well, Allah is exposing these men and women every day. But rather than the rest of the ummah look at the exposure for what it is, they're sitting up trying to defend it, trying to hide it, trying to excuse their sins, no matter how big they are, no matter how bad the sins are, because they want to fit in too. Because you got your fame too, and you probably don't deserve yours either. Now, what else she said? Allah and his prophet ordered us to speak up against evil, even if we are the only ones doing so, even if you're seen as a stranger. We are supposed to hate and love solely for the sake of Allah. The prophet told us that when we don't speak up, that's when Allah will send his wrath upon us all. Good job. All your answers are correct, and she put it all in one answer. Good job, Sarah. Good job, Aisha. Good job, Brother Tarek. Good job, but Sister Aisha answered it best. Okay, she put all your answers together. So, and this is why Allah knew that we would do that. And that's why there's going to be so many of us in hell. Because rather than stop the evil, rather than protest against the evil, rather than shun those who did it. We rather sit there and support it, excuse it, cover it up, and everything else, because there's something that we want. Perhaps the same thing. We're trying to fit in. We need the numbers too. We need the followers too. This is serious, guys. That's a sin that scares me. That's a scary sin. The day I log into Facebook and I see that I have 1,000 people listening to me, that's the day that I will take my Dawah boots and hang them next to those other boots, because that would tell me I'm doing something wrong. Something must be wrong with me, because there's no way I should have that many followers if I'm truly doing what's right. Because the people of the truth, we're always a minority, not the majority. It's a sting. That's why I say I love my little 2 people. Give me my Anissa, my Fresno, and my Norto, and Maliuns, and Aishos, and Ishas, and I'll go on by my business. But the day I look up and see I got 1,000 people sitting up on Facebook listening to me, I say, oh Lord, what did I do wrong? I will get scared. Oh Allah, am I doing something wrong? It's time to retire. To hang those boots next to the other boots. Put the pole down and turn off the TV and just go on ahead and get ready to die. It's a scary thing, because a lot of people are going to be in hell for inclining others to sin. I don't want to be one of those. I want to be the rare person that ain't. So give me my little 2 users, my little 2 viewers. Okay, let's see the next question. This is a big question. I broke this one down. I broke this hadith down yesterday in detail, because I get so sick of this. This is one of the most misinterpreted hadiths on the planet Earth. And I get so sick of it. It gets worse each year. The hadith about the women with heads like a hump is referring to what sin that these women committed in this world. The hadith about the women with heads like a camel hump. What sin is Allah speaking about that these women committed in this world?
These are the women that walk around with clothes on but are still naked. They showing everything they have: the breast, the arms, the chest, the legs, everything.
Good job. Does it have anything to do with a hairstyle?
No, ma'am, it does not.
Y'all see that? So please, guys, anybody that's listening to me on the internet, stop misconstruing that hadith to mean something that it doesn't mean. That hadith ain't got nothing to do with a ponytail. It ain't got nothing to do with wearing my hair in a bun. I got my hair in a bun right now.
Right.
Allah's not going to throw no woman in no hellfire because I got my hair in a bun. It's talking about being naked with clothes on. If I sat here with a see-through hijab on, you can see my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Get so sick of people misinterpreting the words of Allah. Let's see who else got it right. Sister Fatima Velez, good job. Brother Tariq, this hadith is referring to the sin of wearing clothing, but the women are still naked. The clothes they wear show their skin and shape of their body and their hair. The people of the hellfire, their teeth will be the size of a mountain. These women's head will be the size of a camel's hump because they show their nakedness. Exactly. You know, when you learn the true Islam, you learn it the way the Prophet taught. And you have the understanding that the companions had, because they're the ones that explain what the Prophet said to us. Do you want to understand what the Prophet meant about a camel hump? Ask the companions. Ibn Abbas explained it. Aisha explained it. Ibn Masud explained it. Abu Bakr explained it. It's talking about the punishment. Your head gonna take on be big as a camel's hump for being ignorant, being a Jezebel. Subhanallah, we have to learn Islam the correct way. Stop learning from people who don't know the Sunnah. Stop learning from people who just got a piece of paper because they went to some online school, listened to some stuttering man sing off key about the Quran, and they gave him a piece of paper, and now I'm a scholar. And I can read a book and give you my interpretation of the meaning, but I'm going to go on Google and see what the other people said too. That's not how we teach Islam. Yasmin. Okay, good job. The clothing. Good job, Sister Aisha. The sin of being dressed but still naked. Exactly. They used to display themselves to tempt men. Elma, it's referring to the women who walked around dressed but still naked. The bodies will be enlarged so much that the molar tooth will be as big as a mountain. Their heads would take on the form of a camel that be as large as a camel's hump. Exactly. So what we have happening today is you see a lot of Muslim women walking around in see-through shaylas. How many of y'all see a lot of Indian women? A lot of women from Pakistan, a lot of women from Malaysia, a lot of women from India wearing see-through hijabs. They wear their abayas. Their abayas are see-through. How many of you see that? Because they think that hadith is talking about a ponytail. They think that, it's talking about a ponytail, that they can't wear a ponytail, that they can't wear a bun. Misinterpreting. No, it's talking about the see-through clothing. Stop wearing those see-through shaylas. I tell you guys, that's why I like Sister Pasha's clothing. All the clothing that Sister Pasha sells, her pashimas, like the one I have on, thanks to her, is not see-through. Even the shaylas that she sells. Pasha does not sell see-through shaylas either. Her stuff is correct. So y'all women, be careful buying see-through hijabs and all that. This is a sin. Okay, let's look at the last question. Let's put it up on the screen. Let me fix it so y'all can see. Here's the big one. This is how I ended yesterday's class. I got really passionate about it. I always get passionate when I talk about the children. Why? Why should we not? I repeat. Why should we not? I repeat again. Why should we not tell our children to grow up and be scholars? And I know this is really weird because you guys hear a lot of other famous people telling children, y'all should go to school and be scholars. Why is it that Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, taught the opposite? Why should we not encourage our children to be scholars?
We're supposed to get knowledge to get closer to Allah, not compete, not to be boisterous about it, but to know what we know, not to show off, but to be able to get closer to Allah.
Exactly. So what are you, when you tell your children that they should want to grow up to be a scholar, what are you encouraging them to do?
I would tell my kids not to be a scholar, because with being a scholar comes with a bigger deal, because Allah will punish us with everything that comes out of our mouth, whether it's wrong or not. So it's better not to be a scholar.
Yes, but y'all missed the one. Both your answers are good, but y'all missed the beginning part of your answer. Why is it bad to tell the child that? Think about your answers are right, but you left.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, go ahead. Walaikum salam.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you let Allah choose you to be scholar, not to wish to be the one. if Allah choose you to be the scholar, Allah will help you go through it.
That's
But if
true.
you choose to be the one, then this is a terrible.
Okay, your answers are all right, but you forgot the beginning. Okay, well, if I say, I want you to be a scholar, I'm encouraging you to be a scholar, what am I really encouraging you to do?
You're encouraging them to become failures
No,
because you're
no,
pressuring.
no.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I think it kind of goes in the category of saying I want to be an imam. It
No,
seems like it's a lead. It's not a leader position.
The imam,
Okay.
same thing. If I'm raising my children, encouraging them to grow up and be scholars, what am I really encouraging them to do? Think about it, y'all.
Actually, she's not encouraging him to do what he wants to do. Actually, she's encouraging him to do something she wanted to do. Plus, he's not going to go and get knowledge for the sake of Allah. He's going to get knowledge because someone is pushing him to do it.
No, y'all still missing.
Encourage him to be famous?
It's like encouraging him to be an actor.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
To be a singer. You're looking for fame.
Yeah, fame.
It's all about fame. Y'all missed the most important thing. It's the same as telling my daughter, honey, you need to go be on Dance Moms. Girl, you can dance. Go get on Dance Moms. Girl, you need to go to school to be an actress. You're encouraging them to instead of seek the pleasure of Allah, you're encouraging them to seek the pleasure of the people. You were pushing them to the life of this world.
Oh my God.
Do y'all see that?
Oh, send.
And that's why the hadiths make sense. That's why the prophet said, don't seek knowledge for fame. When you tell your children, I want you to be a scholar, you're pushing me. You're molding that child. You're shaping that child to go around seeking approval and of the people instead of approval of Allah. Because can't nobody make you a scholar anyway. Can't nobody give you the knowledge to be a scholar but Allah. You're pushing your child to seek a position of fame. And whenever we seek positions, we don't have the help of Allah. It's when, y'all, and this is what Muslims today are doing. We're telling our kids, oh, I hear some famous speakers. Oh, brother, how old are you? Can you recite the Quran? I'm going to make you a scholar. You need to grow up and be a scholar. You need to grow up and be a scholar. You're pushing that child. Be famous. Be famous. Please the people. Do it for the people, not for Allah, not for Allah, not for Allah. We're no different than the Kafirs. Remember, the prophet said that we imitate them. Just like the non-Muslims are pushing their children to fame, pushing their children to seek the fame and be famous, we're doing the same thing. We're pushing our kids to be on CNN News talking about the political situation in the Middle East. We're pushing our children to be like so many of these famous people, the title of a contemporary Islamic theologian, a contemporary Islamic scholar, a contemporary Islamic this. When scholar is a title that doesn't exist.
All right.
Can't nobody give you that. So you guys get it? So that's the problem. Let's see what answers we had here. Sarah said, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but y'all, all of y'all in y'all's answers miss the main point. You're pushing your children to seek for other than the sake of Allah. Don't encourage them to do that because you're encouraging them to seek this world for reasons other than pleasing Allah. Like I said yesterday, teach your children to grow up and be good Muslims. Because if they grow up and be good Muslims, the other Muslims will recognize the good in them. And then the other Muslims will come to them and ask them, do you want to be an imam? The other Muslims will recognize the knowledge they have and ask them, can you teach me? And that's what the prophet explained to Abu Darda. If you go around seeking positions of power and leadership and you don't qualify for them, Allah will leave you on your own. But if you do qualify, you wait for the people to come and ask you, and then Allah will help you and cover any of your faults. Why is Allah exposing all these famous men today? Another one was exposed today, this morning. I stay glued on Google. My behind, anybody tell you not to read Google is crazy. Because how else you gonna know what's happening in the world unless you read the news? Another famous personality was exposed today. Same stuff. It's all about womanizing, 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 violating the trust of the people. Another woman goes to an imam seeking a divorce. A famous so-called Islamic contemporary scholar. She goes to this one is in Europe. This was not in America, at least. This was a famous European, a modern contemporary scholar. She goes to him seeking a divorce. Oh, he gives her the divorce, all right, and marries her. Not even after her iddat period was before her iddat. He married her before her iddat period was over. And now her husband's taking him to court. His husband filed a lawsuit in the court over there in Europe, in England or wherever they at, saying that this man was having an affair with his wife. I mean, come on, Allah exposes them. Let the people come to you because you're qualified. Teach your kids to grow up and become doctors, engineers. We need more doctors. We need more engineers. We need more nurses. We need more physical therapists. We need more occupational therapists. We need more those type of people. You encourage your kids to go to school and get a degree that can benefit them in regards to their livelihood. There is no such thing as a degree in Islam. Can't nobody give you that. That only comes from Allah. El-Furqan comes from Allah. And he already tells us in the Quran, he only gives it to a few people. Okay, that's why we're simple-minded. All right, any questions about any of those answers? So don't encourage your children to become scholars. You're encouraging them to a life of this world. You're teaching them to seek the pleasure of the people instead of seeking the pleasure of Allah. All right, any questions about any of those answers? It's powerful. The fiqh. When we break those hadiths down and really ponder the meaning of them, guys, they're scary, aren't they? They're pretty scary. The Prophet warned us. We just don't listen because we don't understand what he was saying. People misconstrue the meaning of them.
Dude, mine and yours.
Huh?
Oh my God.
Anissa, what are you saying? Let me mute her. She all on the microphone. All right. Any questions about any of those answers? Okay, let me put the lecture up for today. Yeah, that's why we're supposed to ponder what we read. Ponder, break those hadiths down word for word and see what, and ponder, think about what the Prophet is saying. If we did that, we'd be afraid of a lot of things that we're doing that we shouldn't do. All right, let's put the PowerPoint up for today's lecture. Hold on, let me, what is that over there? Oh, hey! The cat is chewing my cord. Get away from that cord. Come here. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay, give me a second, guys. Trying to set the PowerPoint so y'all can see it and not the other stuff on here. All right. Okay, inshallah, everybody should be able to see the screen, my PowerPoint. Okay. In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulullah. Today we're continuing with our topic of the particulars concerning the hellfire. But today is going to be a really, really powerful lecture because you guys have heard me say over and over that there will be more people in hell than in paradise. Ever since I've been teaching this time, I've received a lot of emails and private messages from people asking me for my dalil because they were told there's more people in paradise. Well, and I kept telling them, come to my classes. Well, today is the day that not only will I give you the evidence as presented to us by Allah himself, but I will also even take it further and explain to you why there will be more people in hell than paradise, as explained to us by Allah himself. Hello. So let's put it up here on the screen and get started. Okay. There are many, many texts from the Quran and the authentic hadith that indicate the large numbers of the people that will enter the hellfire. And there's many, many hadiths that show how they outnumber the people of paradise. The problem is you guys are not learning Islam correctly. First of all, you have to find a bona fide, qualified teacher. And I hope this is clear to everyone. You have to find a bona fide, qualified teacher. If you had a bona fide qualified teacher, you would know that the numbers of the people of hell outnumber those of paradise. And again, every Muslim is supposed to have a teacher. If you don't have a teacher and you think you can teach yourself the religion, guess who your teacher is? Your personal jinn, shaitan. Hello. So if you do have a teacher that's taught you that there's more people in paradise than hell, you need to fire him or fire her. That's not a bona fide qualified teacher, because there are many, many, many verses from the Quran and the authentic Sunnah that say otherwise. For example, listen to what Allah himself says in the interpretation, the meaning. Yet no faith will the greater part of mankind have, no matter how ardently you desire it. Now that one verse of the Quran shuts down the liars. Allah is clear here. He says that faith, the people who believe in him, will not outnumber those who disbelieve in him, no matter how much you want to change. And this is why it's wrong to go around telling yourself or telling your students and followers that they make Muslims. Allah is the one that makes Muslims. Just because there are 22 million people listening to you, and of those 22 million people, half of them converted to Islam. They didn't convert to Islam because of you. They converted to Islam because Allah willed it. Allah made it happen. If that's the case, I can give credits to Shaitan. The reason why the people go to paradise is because of Shaitan, because they chose to not listen to him. I mean, come on, guys, stop putting the credit where it shouldn't be. Allah makes Muslims. He's the only one that can turn the heart from good to bad. Okay? It ain't about you. You and I do not have that power. Stop trying to take on Allah's power. Okay? So Allah is clear here. You know, the people of faith, the people who believe in him will not equal or outnumber those who don't. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I was shown the nations, and I saw a prophet, one prophet, accompanied by a small group of followers. And then I saw another prophet accompanied by only one or two men. And I saw another that had no companions at all. This is one of my favorite hadiths. It's one of my most inspiring hadiths. Whenever I start to feel depressed because my personal jinn tries to take me to that place because I don't have 1 million followers, I think about that. Allah says there will be more people in hell than paradise, guys. There are more people that will follow the hypocrites and the unbelievers than there are people that will follow the people of truth. Like I told you when I started today's lecture, the day I wake up and turn on this Zoom room and see 1,000 people in here, and then log in to Facebook and see another 1,000, that's when I'm done. Y'all will see me sit here and say, I am no longer teaching, because I would think something's wrong with me. I must be sending y'all to hell, and myself too, because the people of truth, we just don't have that many followers. We just don't. Okay? Remember, man is more inclined to evil than he is to good. It's the nature of the human. Okay? Also, there's another hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that 999 out of every 1,000 of the children of Adam will enter hell, and only one of those 1,000 will enter paradise. That hadith there, and it's from Bukhari and Muslim too, is more evidence and more proof that the people of the hellfire outnumber the people of paradise, that there are more people living on this planet who don't believe in Allah than there are people who do, even if they claim to. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, Allah will say, O Adam, and Adam will answer and say, yes, Allah, I am here, and I am obedient to whatever you want. Allah will then say to Adam, send forth the people of the hellfire. And Adam will say, oh Allah, how many are there? And Allah will say, out of every 1,000 people that come forth, take 999 of them and put them in the hellfire. And at that time, the people's hair, even the children, their hair will turn gray, and the pregnant woman will abort her child. And you will see the people standing as if they are drunk, even though they're not, because they are afraid of Allah. This is what's going to happen. Not in the grave. This is after that. When Allah raises us up on the day of judgment, the angels will push us to the place of gathering. We'll be shocked. We've come up from the dead. I'm barefoot. I'm naked. I'm uncircumcised. As we're looking around, like crazy, that's when the voice will say, oh, Adam, bring forth the people of hell. And then the voice will say, out of all these people standing here, take 999 and put them in hell. And we're going to go, oh no, oh, you're going to be terrified. Oh no. It's the women that were pregnant, who were living and were pregnant, will abort. The rest of us that came out the grave will be, oh no, oh God, I just did my time in hell. I got to do some more. I got to do some more time in hell. Scary. But that hadith is authentic. That hadith is the proof that there'll be more people in hell, guys, than paradise. Okay? Also, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared this hadith with his companions, many of them became like many of you are right now. They became scared. They became worried. They began to think, what about me? Maybe I'm going to be in hell. But the prophet calmed his companions down, and he relieved them of their fears by telling them that the Gog and the Magog will make up for them. Now, this is another, pay attention here. This is another hadith, just like the hadith about the camel's hump. This is another hadith that so many Muslims misconstrue the meaning of, because they don't know the history of Islam. They don't know the Sunnah. They are not scholars of hadith. They were not taught Islam by scholars of hadith. You know, they misconstrue this hadith's meaning. And let me put it up here for y'all to see. This is the hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be happy. The 1,000 will be from the Gog and the Magog, and the one will be from amongst you. Many Muslims read that hadith and say, oh, that's talking about us Muslims. That we Muslims don't have to worry about going to hell. That the people that will be in hell will just be the Jews and the Christians. The Gog and the Magog will make up for us. No, the Prophet was talking about the companions. Remember, Allah tells us that the best of this nation were the companions. They will be the forerunners. Many of them will not even be held accountable for their sins. They will simply be told to go stand over there and wait for the bridge to open, the gates of paradise to open. The Gog and the Magog, they are one of the greater last signs of the last hour. They will come and they will destroy the Arabs. The Gog and the Magog will destroy the Arabs. The Gog and the Magog will destroy the Arabs. They will drink up all the water. They will bring death and murder and kill and pillage. It will be from the supplication of Jesus, who will be the Caliph. He will make dua, and Allah will send worms that will bite them in the neck and cause them to die. But before they die, they will destroy the Arabs. Why? Because the Arabs were the ones given the true Islam and abandoned it for the life of this world. But the Prophet let the companions know the Gog and the Magog will make up for y'all. Y'all will be in paradise. You companions who are with me here, he's talking about them. You, the first generation, you are the best of this nation. You all are with me here. You all are upon the straight path here. The Gog and the Magog will make the difference up for y'all. So don't worry, y'all good. It's not talking about us today. Does everybody understand that? Because I get so tired of listening to other famous speakers mistell this hadith. That's only for the Prophet's companions, not for us. Also, there's another hadith from Bukhari and Muslim that instead of saying 999, it says 99 out of every 100. And this hadith does not contradict the previous ones. Instead, it shows support by signifying that what's left after the Gog and the Magog is us. For every 100 people that we know, 99 of them will be in the hellfire, and only one of us will make it to paradise. SubhanAllah. Think about that. How many Muslims are there on Facebook? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. How many Muslims do you know? Think about it. Do you even know 100 Muslims? Well, out of every 100 Muslims you know, 99 of them are going into hellfire. So what does that tell us? That we have to work hard to be that one, to be that one. To be that one that doesn't end up like this in the hellfire. That hadith should inspire each and every one of us. So if your children become afraid hearing that hadith, you teach your children. The way my mother taught me, be that one, Layla. She used to tell me, be that one. Mukhtar's father was my first teacher. He was the imam of the mosque I was with. He used to tell all of us children, you all be that one. You all go out, call the people to Islam, call the people to the truth, and you all be that one. And that's what you tell your children. Be that one that makes it to paradise. Okay? Let's see what else we have here. More proofs. Now that brings us to the question that many Muslims ask. Why is it that there will be more people in the hellfire instead of paradise? Well, many people will say, most Muslims today, when you ask that question, they would say, oh, because many people didn't receive the message. The reason why there'll be more people in hell than paradise is because they didn't know the truth. My grandmother was a good woman. She didn't know about Islam. My great-great-grandmother, you hear that. Well, this is not true. This is not true because Allah tells us in the interpretation, the meaning, never will we punish a person until we send a messenger to them. Allah tells us he will never throw anyone in hell who did not hear the truth. For those people who never heard about Allah, never heard about the Prophet Muhammad, didn't know nothing about Islam, Allah will ask them a question on the day of judgment that only he knows. And whatever answer they give to that question will determine if they end up in hell or not. So you can't say that the reason why there's more people in hell is because they didn't hear the truth. That's not true. Because Allah says he will never put into the hellfire a person who didn't hear the message. Also, Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, and there never was a people that did not have a warner living amongst them in the past. Allah tells us that he sent warners to every people, to every nation. There was always someone to warn the people. So you can't use that as the reason as to why, okay? The real reason as to why there will be more people in hell than paradise is because few were the people who accepted the truth, just like we see today. Look at all these Muslims today, millions of Muslims in the world. But how many of them are practicing Islam the right way, the correct way? How many of them are living the Sunnah of the Prophet? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How many Muslims are resisting the urge to sin? That's the reason why there'll be more people in hell. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Those of the sects that reject the Quran, the fire will be their promised meeting place. So that's the reason why. The reason why there's more people in hell than paradise is because you didn't want to stop smoking cigarettes. You didn't want to stop fornicating. You didn't want to wear hijab. You didn't want to pray. You chose to disobey Allah. And that's why there's going to be more of you in hell than paradise. Subhanallah. Common sense, guys. Remember, Islam really makes sense when you think about it. There's even people amongst ourselves today who claim to believe in the Quran. We have a lot of hypocrites living amongst us, guys. They will be in the lowest level of the fire. We got people that call themselves Quran aloners, but they reject the Sunnah. We got Muslims amongst us today, famous speakers. They tell you that it's haram to eat meat from the people of the book, but it's lawful, to do interest and shave the beard and all that stuff. These are the people that's going to occupy the hellfires, guys. So the reason why is because people chose to reject the truth. The only people that will be saved from the hellfire are those of us who live our lives clinging. And I want you guys to look at this, clinging to the Sunnah of the Prophet with the understanding of his companions. Y'all understand that? That's some powerful stuff here. If you truly want to save yourself from hell, you have to learn Islam and its truthfulness, the way the Prophet Muhammad taught it. And if it's something that you are confused about, you need to learn what the companions said. You have to develop their understanding. This is why I tell you, we don't belong to no set. There's only one set of Muslims. There's only one kind of Muslim, and that name is Muslim. Muslim is an Arabic word that means a person, one who submits himself to Allah. That's it. And if you submit yourself to Allah, then you will submit yourself the way the Prophet taught us to. You will have that same understanding that those companions had, and you will cling to that. Cling to the Prophet's example. Cling to the Prophet's understanding. I am not going to push Aisha's fatwa out the door to listen to some man from Saudi Arabia tell me that I have to cover my face. I am not going to push Aisha's fatwa out the door and listen to some man from Saudi Arabia tell me I can't wear makeup or lipstick. I'm not going to push Aisha's understanding out the door and allow some man to tell me I can't wear pants. I'm not going to push Aisha's understanding out the door and let some man from Saudi tell me that I have to be oppressed, that I can't be a daya, that I can't speak, that I can't be passionate, that I can't be beautiful. That's why I'm saying you have to hold on and cling to that understanding that Aisha had, understanding that Ibn Abbas had, understanding that Abu Bakr had, that those companions had, because they were the best of this nation. Remember, the Gog and the Magog will make up the difference for them, not you and me. Okay? So that's the only way to save yourself from the hellfire, by clinging to the sunnah of the Prophet and maintaining that understanding of those companions. We have to learn to control our desires. We have to learn to not give in to our desires. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Fair in the eyes of man is the love of things that they covet. Women, children, gold, wealth, horses, well-tilled land. These are the possessions of this world's life. So again, we have to learn what, like Allah is saying here, to control our desires. Remember the nature of the human. In order to save your soul from the hellfire, you have to know the nature of the human. The human being is attracted to those things that are bad and dirty. We have to fight and resist those attractions that go against the rules, the laws, the commands of Allah. We cannot allow those desires to overwhelm us and cause us to sin. That's how you save your soul from the hellfire. And this is what you teach your children too. For those of us who are weak to our desires, for those of us who give in to them, we're the ones that will end up in hell. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. In the same way, whenever we sent a warner before you to any of the people, the rich ones amongst them said, we found our fathers doing this and we follow in their footsteps. And the warner would answer and say, what? Even if I brought you better guidance than that which you found your fathers following? And the people answered and said, for us, we deny that you prophets are sent on a mission at all. Subhanallah. The same thing people say today. Why don't you wear hijab, sister? Oh, well, the people in my country don't. Sister Layla, I'm from Kuwait. Most of the Kuwaiti women, we don't have to cover up. When you go to my country, they don't wear hijabs. I'm from Bahrain. Many of us, we don't wear hijab. Only our grandmothers do. The old women wear hijabs. The young people, we don't. Or you will find some people say, oh, Sister Layla, I'm Bantu. I'm Bantu. I'm Bantu. My forefathers, I'm following the same way, the same understanding that my forefathers had. My forefathers believed this. My forefathers believed that. No. Does everybody understand that? The same way people make that excuse today, they made it back then. Since the time of Noah, People have been making the excuse that this is what my forefathers have done, even though Allah sent prophets and messengers warning them. So this is why there'll be more people in hell. You're busy following what the people of your country do, following what your forefathers did, instead of following what Allah said. And also, guys, very important, you sisters, Allah not only tells us and teaches us that there'll be more people in hell, but he takes it even further and tells us that the majority of those people will be women. Why? Why? Because we women are so emotional. We women are more quicker to commit sin than men are. We women suffer with this thing called PMS. We women, suffer with this thing known as jealousy. We women suffer with the problem that we can't control our anger. We get angry, we get to cursing. We get angry, we get to calling people names. We get angry, we'll tell our husband, no matter how good a man he is, you never did nothing for me, even though he just brought you some flowers. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, "O women of this nation, give in charity, because I have seen that you will form the majority of the people of the hellfire, because you curse too much and you are ungrateful for even the good treatment that a man will give you." And also, look at these famous scholars, these people of fame that we made. Most of their followers are women. In another hadith, the Prophet said a woman is so ignorant that she will follow a man straight to hell. You fall in love with his voice because he's handsome, his charisma. The man could be a mass murderer and you'll still follow him. A lot of these men that Allah has revealed recently, they're still famous. Look at their followers. The women still following along behind these crazy rapist men. SubhanAllah. So this is why the Prophet encouraged us women to give in charity, because giving in charity is a good thing that purifies the evil that's in your heart. You're doing this for the sake of Allah. Whenever we do something and sacrifice for the sake of Allah, Allah will shower his blessings upon us. And remember, only Allah can change the condition of a heart. He can make a hardened heart become soft. So we women, I tell every woman of my website, we should all keep a charity box in our house. Keep a charity box in your house and teach your daughters to give in charity, to put money in that box. At the end of the month, turn it into the mosque, because it'll purify us of the foul language we use, and it'll soften our hearts and make us better women. Okay? So thus, guys, those are my proofs. For all you Muslims who sent me emails for the past 2 weeks asking me to give my evidence that there's more people in hell than paradise, I've just given it to you. Okay? I'm not going to teach you guys anything that I can't back up. And everything I do teach you, I do back up. But there's the proof given to us by Allah. And there's not only the proof, but I just gave you the reasons too. All right? Ponder that. Try to be that one. Try to be that one. Try to be that one person that makes it to paradise. On that note, we'll stop right here for today. If you guys have any questions or comments, inshallah, you can type them on the screen.